It was supposed to be a happy night, our engagement dinner at La Bella Vista, the Italian restaurant where we'd had our first date 3 years ago. The same corner table, the same warm lighting, even the same waiter who remembered us and winked when he brought out the champagne. My parents had driven 4 hours to be there. Her family came in from the suburbs. A few close friends, people who'd watched our relationship grow from that awkward first meeting at a mutual friend's barbecue to this moment. Everyone was there to celebrate us. I'd been planning this dinner for weeks. I wanted everything to be perfect. The ring had cost me 3 months' salary, but when I saw her face light up the night I proposed on the beach at sunset, I knew it was worth every penny. She'd said yes through happy tears, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. Tonight was meant to solidify that feeling, to bring our two families together, to toast our future, to laugh and eat and create memories we'd look back on years from now with our kids. I thought it would be one of those evenings you'd remember forever. And I was right, but not for the reason I hoped. The first hour went beautifully. My mom and her mom were already planning the wedding, comparing notes on venues and flowers. My dad and her dad discovered they'd both served in the military, different branches but shared stories. Our friends were joking about who'd give the most embarrassing speech at the reception. I held her hand under the table and felt genuinely, completely happy. Then Marcus, one of my college buddies, made an innocent comment. We'd been talking about our university days, reminiscing about football games and terrible dorm food, when he mentioned Ryan Caldwell. "Oh man, Ryan, didn't he go to the same college as you too? I heard he's doing some big tech thing in Seattle now." It was just casual conversation, a throwaway comment. I even laughed, ready to move on to the next topic. But she didn't laugh. Her hand went rigid in mine. I felt her entire body tense beside me. The smile vanished from her face, replaced by something I'd never quite seen before, something defensive, almost protective. She pulled her hand away from mine and picked up her wine glass. The table had already moved on. Someone was telling a story about a disastrous spring break trip, but she wasn't listening. She took a long sip of wine, set the glass down with a deliberate clink, and spoke loud enough to cut through every other conversation at the table. "Ryan will always be part of my life. If you don't like it, there's the door." Time seemed to stop. The entire table went silent. Mid-sentence, mid-laugh, mid-bite, everyone froze. It was as if someone had pressed pause on the entire evening. I saw Marcus's face turn red with embarrassment, realizing his innocent comment had somehow triggered this. My friend Sarah's eyes went wide, darting between me and my fiancée with barely concealed shock. Her mother, Patricia, let out a nervous laugh and immediately tried to redirect the conversation. "So, has anyone tried the tiramisu here? I hear it's exceptional." But no one was listening to her. Every eye at that table was either on me or carefully looking anywhere but at me, which somehow felt worse. My dad, a retired Marine who'd taught me about honor, respect, and standing up for yourself, was staring directly at me. Not at her. At me. Waiting. His expression said everything. "What are you going to do about this, son?" My mom's hand had gone to her chest, like she'd been physically struck. She'd welcomed this woman into our family, had spent hours on the phone with her planning showers and celebrations, had already started calling her daughter. But I just sat there, frozen. My mind was racing through 1,000 thoughts at once. Part of me wanted to believe I'd misheard her. Part of me wanted to laugh it off as a joke in poor taste. Part of me wanted to stand up and demand an explanation. But mostly, I was just processing the cold, hard truth that her words had forced me to confront. Because this wasn't the first time she'd mentioned Ryan. Over the past year, his name had come up more times than I cared to count. Always casually. Always with an excuse. "They still talk sometimes. Just friendly check-ins," she'd said. They were just friends, who'd stayed in touch after their breakup 4 years ago. She'd told me she believed in mature, adult relationships where you didn't have to cut people out of your life just because the romance ended. And I tried to believe her. I really did. I tried to be the understanding, secure boyfriend who didn't get jealous or controlling. When she mentioned grabbing coffee with him, to catch up 6 months ago, I swallowed my discomfort and said okay. When his name popped up on her phone screen with heart emojis, "Just an old inside joke," she'd explained, I let it go. When she insisted on keeping photos of them together in her Instagram highlights, I told myself it was just history, just memories, nothing to worry about. But now, sitting at our engagement dinner, surrounded by everyone we loved, she'd just announced to the world that her ex-boyfriend would always be part of her life. And if I had a problem with it, I could leave. Not in private, Not in a gentle conversation where we could work through my concerns. In front of my parents, her parents, our friends. I don't know how long I sat there in silence. It felt like hours, but was probably only 30 seconds. Long enough for the discomfort at the table to become unbearable. Long enough for people to start shifting in their seats, clearing their throats, desperately wishing they were anywhere else. Her father, Robert, a usually jovial man who'd shaken my hand firmly when I'd asked for his blessing to propose, looked like he wanted to sink through the floor. He opened his mouth as if to say something, then closed it again, clearly torn between defending his daughter and acknowledging how inappropriate her comment had been. My friend David tried to help. "Hey, let's just..." But I held up my hand, stopping him mid-sentence. I turned to look at her, really look at her. This woman I'd planned to marry. This woman I'd imagined growing old with, raising children with, building a life with. Her jaw was set, her eyes defiant. She wasn't apologizing. She wasn't backtracking. She was doubling down, daring me to make a scene, to be the controlling boyfriend who couldn't handle her having male friends. But this wasn't about male friends. This was about respect. This was about priorities. This was about someone showing me exactly where I ranked in her life, and it wasn't first. In that moment, something crystallized inside me. A clarity I'd been avoiding for months. I'd been making excuses for her, ignoring red flags, convincing myself that my discomfort was just insecurity, that I needed to be more trusting, more understanding, more flexible. But you know what? When you're truly valued, you don't have to wonder if you are. When someone truly loves you, they don't use their ex as a weapon. They don't humiliate you publicly. They don't put you in a position where you have to choose between your dignity and your relationship. I looked her straight in the eye and said, my voice calm and steady, "You're right. There's the door." Then I stood up, picked up my jacket from the back of my chair, and walked toward the exit. No shouting. No scene. No dramatic confrontation. Just quiet. Behind me, I heard chaos erupt. Her voice suddenly panicked. "Wait, that's not what I didn't mean." My mother's voice, tight with emotion. "Let him go, dear." Her mother's voice, sharp with embarrassment. "What were you thinking?" But I didn't turn around. I didn't pause. I just walked out of that restaurant into the cool night air, got in my car, and drove away. My phone started buzzing before I even made it to the highway. That night was the longest of my life. I drove to my buddy Jake's apartment. He'd been at the dinner but had clearly left shortly after me because he got home just minutes later. He didn't ask questions, just tossed me a beer and turned on a basketball game we both pretended to watch. My phone wouldn't stop. Text after text, call after call. From her. That was taken out of context. "Come back. We need to talk." Then, "You're being dramatic." I didn't mean it like that. Then, "Fine, ignore me." Real mature. From her mother, Patricia, "Please don't make any rash decisions. She's upset. You both need to calm down and talk this through." From her best friend, Lauren, "She's crying. She loves you. She just says stupid things when she's had wine. Please call her." From Marcus, apologetic, "Dude, I'm so sorry. I had no idea mentioning Ryan would. I feel terrible." Even her younger sister, Emma, who I'd always gotten along with, sent a message. "My sister can be an idiot sometimes, but she does love you. Don't give up on her." I ignored every single message. Not out of spite, not to punish anyone, but because I needed to think. I needed to process. And I knew that if I engaged with anyone that night, I'd either say something I'd regret or let myself be talked into accepting something unacceptable. Jake finally spoke around midnight. "Want to talk about it?" "Not really," I said. Then, after a moment, "How long have you known about Ryan?" He was quiet for a beat too long. "What do you mean?" "Jake." He sighed, running his hand through his hair. "Look, man, I didn't know if it was my place to say anything. But, yeah, I've heard things. Mutual friends who've seen them together, getting coffee, having lunch. They talk more than she probably told you. Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I didn't know if it was innocent or not. Maybe they really were just friends. And I didn't want to be the guy who ruined your relationship over nothing, you know." He looked at me directly. "But after tonight, the way she said that, man, that wasn't okay. That wasn't respect." I nodded slowly. "Yeah. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet. But I was lying. Deep down, I already knew." I finally fell asleep around 3 a.m., my phone on silent, my mind exhausted but strangely clear. The next morning, I woke up to daylight streaming through Jake's guest room window and my phone showing 47 missed notifications. I was about to mute it entirely when a new message came through, from Chelsea, one of her cousins. Chelsea and I had always gotten along. She was straightforward, funny, and didn't tolerate nonsense from anyone, including her own family. The message was simple: call me. Now. You need to see something. I stepped out onto Jake's balcony and called her. She answered on the first ring. I'm sending you screenshots right now. I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner, but I kept thinking maybe I was wrong, maybe it was innocent, maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But after last night, you deserve to know. Chelsea, what are you talking about? Just look at the photos. My phone buzzed. One image. Then another. Then 3 more. They were time-stamped 2 days before our engagement dinner. Just 48 hours before she'd sat across from me in that restaurant. The first photo showed her and Ryan at a small cafe downtown, sitting at an outdoor table. They were leaning close, laughing. His hand was on her knee. The second showed them holding hands across the table. The third, the one that made my stomach drop, showed them kissing. Not a friendly peck. A real kiss. The fourth and fifth were clearly taken as Chelsea tried to get better angles for proof, showing them leaving the cafe together, his arm around her waist. Chelsea's voice was gentle but firm. I was downtown running errands and saw them. I couldn't believe it at first. I took photos because, honestly, I thought maybe you already knew and were in some kind of open relationship or something. But then at dinner, when she said that about Ryan, and I saw your face, I realized you had no idea. I couldn't speak. My throat had closed up. I'm sorry, Chelsea continued. I know this is horrible, but you needed to know before you married her. She's my cousin and I love her, but what she's doing to you isn't right. Thank you, I finally managed. For telling me. After we hung up, I just stood there on that balcony staring at those photos. The woman I'd been planning to marry had been with her ex just days before celebrating our engagement. And then she'd had the audacity to stand in front of both our families and announce that he would always be part of her life, as if I was the unreasonable one for having a problem with it. The betrayal wasn't just the physical cheating. It was the gaslighting, the making me feel crazy for my concerns, the public humiliation when I'd done nothing but love her and trust her. I called my parents first. My mom answered, her voice worried. Honey, how are you? I'm calling off the engagement. Silence. Then, oh sweetheart, what happened? Last night was awful, but maybe if you two talk. Mom, she's been cheating on me with Ryan. I have photos. It's over. Another silence, longer this time. I heard her voice crack. I'm so sorry, baby. Do you want us to come get you? No. I'm okay. I just wanted you to know. I'm going to handle this today. My dad got on the phone. Son, are you sure? Are the photos definitive? Yes, sir. Then you're making the right choice. I'm proud of you for not tolerating disrespect. Come home when you're ready. We love you. That simple validation, knowing my parents supported me, gave me the strength for what came next. I spent the rest of that morning at Jake's place, systematically going through everything I needed to do. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done, exhausted, ready to move on. First, I downloaded all the photos Chelsea had sent and backed them up in multiple places. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I knew I'd need evidence when people inevitably tried to paint me as the bad guy who abandoned her over nothing. Then I started making calls. I called the jeweler about the ring. Thankfully, we'd only put down a deposit on the wedding bands, which I could cancel. The engagement ring had been paid in full, but it was a sunk cost I'd have to accept. I called our landlord. We'd been living together for 8 months in a 2-bedroom apartment downtown. The lease was in both our names, but I'd been paying 2/3 of the rent since I made more money. I explained the situation, engagement called off, I'd be moving out, and I'd fulfill my portion of the lease obligation until he could find a replacement tenant or until she found a roommate. I called my boss and asked for a personal day. He heard something in my voice and just said, "Take care of yourself. See you Monday." Then came the hard part. I had to go back to our apartment to get my things while she was at work. Jake offered to come with me, but I declined. This was something I needed to do alone. One last walk through the life we'd built together. One final goodbye to the future I'd imagined. The apartment looked the same as it had 2 days ago. The same photos on the wall, the same throw pillows she'd insisted on buying, the same coffee mug I'd used that morning before the engagement dinner in the sink. But it all felt different now. Hollow, like a movie set instead of a home. I packed methodically. Clothes, toiletries, books, my laptop and work stuff. The framed photo of my grandparents that had sat on my nightstand. I left behind anything we'd bought together, anything that felt shared. It took me 3 hours to erase my presence from that apartment. 3 hours to dismantle 8 months of cohabitation, 3 years of relationship. I was loading the last box into my car when my phone rang. Her name on the screen. I almost didn't answer, but I knew I had to eventually. Hello, where are you? Her voice was strained, frantic. I came home for lunch, and half your stuff is gone. What are you doing? I'm moving out. What? No, you can't just, we need to talk about this. Last night was a misunderstanding. It wasn't a misunderstanding, and it's not about last night anymore. Then what is it about? I said I'm sorry. I was drinking, I wasn't thinking, I didn't mean to embarrass you. I know about Ryan. Silence. Complete, dead silence. I continued, my voice steady. I know you've been seeing him. I have photos from 2 days before our engagement dinner. Of you and him. Holding hands. Kissing. Her breath caught audibly. When she spoke again, her voice was different, smaller, caught. Who told you that? Who's spreading lies about me? They're not lies. I've seen the evidence. Multiple photos, time-stamped, clear as day. It wasn't, that's not what it looked like. Don't. My voice came out harder than I intended. Don't insult me by lying anymore. I'm done. Please. Now she was crying. Please let me explain. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything. He reached out to me, and I was confused and I made a terrible choice, but I love you. I want to marry you. If that were true, you wouldn't have done it. And you definitely wouldn't have said what you said last night in front of everyone we love. I'll cut him off completely. I'll block him. I'll never speak to him again. Just please don't do this. Don't throw away 3 years over one mistake. It's not one mistake. It's a pattern. It's months of you prioritizing him over me, over us. It's you making me feel crazy for having reasonable boundaries. It's you humiliating me publicly and then gaslighting me about it. I wasn't gaslighting you. Yes, you were. And I'm done being made to feel like my feelings don't matter. I'm calling off the engagement. It's over. No, you can't. I already did. I'm sorry. I wish you the best. But I can't do this anymore. I hung up before she could respond. Then I blocked her number. It felt terrible and liberating at the same time. I drove back to Jake's place and sat in my car for 20 minutes, just breathing. My phone started blowing up again. Her friends, her family, even some of our mutual acquaintances. Everyone wanted to know what was happening, why I was overreacting, why I wouldn't just talk to her. Then I got a call from her mother. Against my better judgment, I answered. Please don't make this public, Patricia said without preamble. I know my daughter made mistakes. Serious mistakes. Robert and I are devastated. But please think about her reputation, her career. If people find out she was unfaithful, it could ruin her. Something in me hardened. You're worried about her reputation? I'm worried about her future. She's made terrible choices, but she's still my daughter. Can't you handle this quietly? Between the two of you. Mrs. Patterson, your daughter cheated on me, lied to me repeatedly, and humiliated me in front of everyone I love. And you want me to protect her reputation. I'm not saying what she did was right. Then what are you saying? I'm saying, people make mistakes. She's young. She got scared about getting married and made horrible decisions. But if you care about her at all, you won't destroy her life over this. I took a deep breath. I'm not trying to destroy anyone's life. I'm just ending a relationship that should have ended a long time ago. What your daughter did is her responsibility, not mine. If her reputation suffers, it's because of her choices, not my actions. So you're going to tell everyone? Make her look like the villain? I'm going to tell the truth when people ask me what happened. That's it. I'm not going to lie to protect someone who didn't respect me enough to be honest. She was quiet for a moment. Then her voice colder. You'll regret this. You're throwing away a good woman over. A good woman doesn't cheat on her fiancé. Goodbye, Mrs. Patterson. I hung up and immediately followed through on my decision. I opened our family's group chat, the one that had been created to coordinate the engagement dinner and wedding planning. 32 people, both sets of parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, close friends. I took a breath and typed. I wanted to let everyone know that I've called off my engagement. I'm sorry for any confusion or disappointment this causes. The decision is final and not up for discussion. For those who are wondering why, I'm attaching proof that she's been unfaithful. I'm sharing this not to humiliate anyone, but because I won't allow myself to be painted as the villain for refusing to tolerate disrespect. I wish everyone well. Please respect my privacy going forward. Then I attached 3 of the photos Chelsea had sent, cropped to show clearly what was happening, but not overly invasive. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. My phone exploded. Within minutes, the responses started flooding in. From my brother, "Holy shit, dude. I'm so sorry. Come stay with us if you need to." From my sister, "I never liked her anyway. You deserve so much better." From her brother, surprisingly, "I don't blame you, man. This is fucked up. Sorry my sister put you through this." From various aunts and uncles, messages of support, shock, disappointment. From her father, Robert, "I owe you a phone call. Give me a few hours." True to his word, Robert called me that evening. His voice was heavy, tired. "I don't know what to say except I'm sorry. Truly sorry. You deserved better from my daughter. You deserved better from all of us. Patricia shouldn't have asked you to hide the truth. Thank you for saying that. I want you to know." I confronted her. I asked her directly if the photos were real. She admitted everything. She'd been seeing Ryan on and off for about 6 months. She told me she thought she could have both of you, that she loved you but wasn't ready to let Ryan go. He sighed heavily. I told her she's lost you both now, and that it's her own fault. "How is she doing?" I asked, surprising myself with the question. Despite everything, part of me still cared. That doesn't just turn off overnight. "Not well. But that's her burden to carry, not yours. You've been nothing but honorable through all of this. You asked for my blessing to marry my daughter, you treated her well, and you handled this situation with more grace than she deserved. I'm grateful you found out before the wedding." "Me too. If you ever need anything, or if anyone from our family gives you trouble, you call me." "Understood." "Yes, sir. Thank you." After that call, I finally felt like I could breathe. Over the next few days, the dust began to settle. I moved in temporarily with my brother and his wife while I looked for my own place. Jake helped me move my stuff from his apartment into their garage. My parents drove up to take me to dinner and just be there. Friends reached out, offering support, sharing their own stories of betrayal and recovery. Some mutual acquaintances quietly unfollowed her on social media. Others chose sides. I didn't ask anyone to pick me over her. I just focused on moving forward. Then about 2 weeks after I'd walked out of that restaurant, I got a call from Chelsea again. "You're not going to believe this," she said. "Try me. Ryan dumped her." I was silent for a moment. "What?" "Yeah. Apparently, when word got out about why you ended the engagement, Ryan realized people knew about them. Some of his friends confronted him about being a homewrecker. And suddenly, he wasn't interested anymore. Told her he wasn't ready for anything serious and that he'd only wanted to reconnect as friends and she'd misinterpreted things. I didn't know whether to laugh or feel sad for her. That's wow. She's devastated. Lost you, lost him. Her reputation is trashed, and she's dealing with the consequences of her own actions for the first time in her life. Chelsea paused. "I know she's my cousin, but I'm not sorry for her. She did this to herself. I hope she learns from it. You're kinder than I'd be. But hey, silver lining, you dodged a massive bullet. Can you imagine if you'd found out after the wedding? After kids?" She was right. As painful as this was, it was infinitely better than discovering the truth years down the line, after legal entanglements and shared custody arrangements. Thanks for keeping me updated, Chelsea. And thanks for telling me the truth in the first place. Anytime. You're a good guy. You're going to find someone who deserves you. It's been 3 months since that engagement dinner. 3 months since I walked out of La Bella Vista and didn't look back. I found my own apartment, a small 1-bedroom with a view of the city. It's quiet, peaceful, and entirely mine. No shared space, no compromises, no walking on eggshells. I threw myself into work and got a promotion. Started going to the gym regularly. Reconnected with friends I'd neglected during my relationship. Started therapy to work through trust issues and make sure I didn't carry this baggage into future relationships. My parents visited last weekend, and we went hiking, something I hadn't done in years. Mom kept asking if I was okay, if I was lonely, if I needed her to set me up with her friend's daughter. I laughed and told her I was fine. And the surprising thing is, I really am. Do I still think about her sometimes? Of course. 3 years doesn't disappear overnight. Sometimes I'll see something that reminds me of her, or hear a song we used to like, and I'll feel a pang. But it's not longing anymore. It's just memory. Nostalgia for what I thought we had, not grief for what I lost. Because here's what I've learned. Walking away from disrespect isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. It's saying, I deserve better than this, and actually meaning it. I could have stayed. I could have fought for her, gone to couples therapy, tried to work through her infidelity. Some people would have done that. But I've realized that love isn't supposed to be a battlefield. It's not supposed to require you to ignore your gut, suppress your feelings, or accept treatment you'd never tolerate from anyone else. The right person won't make you feel crazy for having boundaries. They won't humiliate you in front of the people you love. They won't keep one foot in your relationship and one foot in someone else's. Sometimes the trash takes itself out. You just have to let it go. Last week, a mutual friend told me she's been trying to reach out through various channels, asking about me, wondering if I'm seeing anyone. My answer through the grapevine has been consistent. I wish her well, but we're done. Please stop asking. I don't hate her. I don't spend time thinking about revenge or hoping she suffers. I genuinely hope she grows from this, becomes a better person, and finds happiness eventually. Just not with me, because I'm building a new life now. One based on self-respect, clear boundaries, and the knowledge that I'm worth more than breadcrumbs of affection from someone who couldn't decide if they wanted me. Sometimes the best response to betrayal isn't anger or revenge, or trying to make someone see what they lost. Sometimes the best response is peace. It's walking away with your head held high, knowing you did the right thing for yourself even when it was hard. It's understanding that closure doesn't come from the other person. It comes from your own decision to move forward. That night at dinner, she showed me the door and expected me to back down, to fight for her, to prove my love by accepting whatever crumbs of respect she was willing to offer. Instead, I walked through it. And on the other side, I found something I didn't expect. I found myself. People keep asking me if I regret it. If I wish I'd handled things differently, fought harder, been more forgiving. My answer is always the same, not for a second. Because that moment, standing up from that table, choosing my dignity over a relationship that had stopped serving me, that moment changed everything. I walked away that night with nothing but my self-respect. And somehow, I ended up with everything. Thank you for watching the video to the end. YouTube may no longer suggest my channel to you, so subscribe to it to receive new interesting stories. You will also help the channel grow and improve the quality of its content. A playlist with other interesting stories that you can listen to is now displayed on the screen. You can also write in the comments what stories you would like to see on the channel.